You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
Welcome to the Hot Options Report, your premier source for insight into the fast-moving options market. Each day, we'll track down the products that are dominating the options chains and impacting your trading account, from Nvidia to VIX and everything in between. If it's lighting up the options tape, then you'll find it on the Hot Options Report.
All right, everybody, that music means we're getting down to business with another episode of the Hot Options Report for Monday, December 1st. Kicking off the final trading month of the year. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving holiday. We were off, obviously, for the latter portion of last week, but now back and raring to go. Remember, a couple of things to remind you of at the top of the show. A, make sure you subscribe to the full network wherever you're getting your favorite podcast. And then, of course, if you want to check out a lot of great data online, including all the data we use for this show and a whole bunch more, thehotoptionsreport.com is the place to go to learn more. That's running all day long, 24/7, so you can always crunch those numbers, get all that data, and again, a whole bunch more, thehotoptionsreport.com to learn more. And speaking of data, we're going to mess around with the numbers a little bit here today. Going to play around with the format a little bit here today to get you kind of just the facts, man, get you in, get you on about the rest of your day, listeners. We're going to stick it to a top 10 out here on the equity front today. Let's kick it off. Number 10, listeners, get you to Palantir. By the way, was it a Rock'em Sock'em Robots Day in the markets? Well, the answer was no. Only cost you $353,000 to break into the top 10 on the equity options front today. That gets you to our old pal Palantir. Palantir coming in today, giving up the ghost a little bit, off about almost exactly $1, closing 167.5, off a little over 0.5% on the day. The hot option out there on a kind of light day in the market, 18,000 of the 170s. Expiring on Friday. Average price for these about $2.70. So not that far out of the money for Palantir, given everything we've seen out there, listeners. We'll keep an eye on those as we keep on rolling to number 9, our old pal Alphabet Class A. Coming in at number 9, 373,000 contracts. Alphabet giving up the ghost a little bit today as well. Closing 314.89, off about 530 or about 1 2/3%. The hot option out there in Alphabet land today. Nearly 18,000 of the 330s. Average price for these about 95 cents. So if you think Alphabet has a nice little bounce in it, then perhaps you think those are a screaming buy. Either way, we'll keep an eye on those as we keep on rolling. To number 8, my old stomping grounds, is Intel, putting up 410,000 contracts today. Intel closing pretty much exactly $40, off about $0.50 or about 1.3%. And the hot option out there in Intel today, listeners, it was 25, almost 26,000 of the 41 calls expiring this Friday. Average price for these, about 73 cents. So once again, if you think Intel has a little bit of a run in it this week, perhaps you're intrigued by those. As we keep on rolling, keeping it in the tech names, it's AMD coming in at number 7 today, 450,000 contracts on the tape. AMD bucking the trend, popping a little bit today, closing up about 2.25 or about exactly 1%, closing 219.76. The hot option out there today, 39,000 of the 220. So pretty much the at the money strike. Average price for these, $5.33. So if you're paying that price, listeners, you need AMD to keep running throughout the rest of the week. If you're selling them, you might have to sweat a little bit, but perhaps they will work out for you. As we keep on rolling to number 6, also in the A tech names, it's the Amazonians, putting up nearly 550,000 contracts today. Closing today up about 2/3 $233.88 is where it went out. And the hot option out there today, 56,000 of the 235s. Average price for these, about $3.28. As we keep on rolling, dare I say it, we go beyond, listeners. To number 5, it's our old pal Beyond Meat, putting up 775,000 contracts today. Popping hard today, up 36 cents, closing at $1.34. So nice little pop here for Beyond Meat today. And it wasn't the ones. You might guess it was the ones. No, it was the 1/2s lighting up the tape today. 100 267,000 times today, listeners. Average price for these, 13 cents. So if you'd like to roll the bones on Beyond, perhaps you like these, or perhaps they're a screaming sale to you as we keep on rolling to number 4. It's the Fruit Company. Good old Apple hitting a new all-time high of $283.42 today before closing $283.10, up about 4.25%, about 1.5%. So a good run here for the Fruit Company, putting up 820,000 contracts for the number 4 spot, the hot option out there today. 63,000 of the 280 calls. Average price for these, $2.37, listeners. As we keep on rolling to number 3, it's our old pal, the Monster. And you know what? This one having quite the day out there. They came for it early, drove it down to 155.61 before a huge turnaround in the Monster and indeed in the crypto space. Ended up closing 171.42. So still off about 5 3/4 or about 3.25%, but well off its lows for the day. Actually, 32 handle range almost on the day. 187.25 to the upside, 155.61 to the downside. So a wild day. A wild day out there in the Monster, putting up 930,000 contracts for MSTR. And the hot option out there today, 31,000 of the 150 puts. These were looking pretty good early on, listeners. We got down to 155. Average price for these, $3.43. By the end of the day, obviously, you were hoping you sold those, listeners. We'll keep an eye on the Monster. This is not the end of the vol in the Bitcoin space, I don't think, as we keep on rolling to number 2. It's our old pal Tesla. Another one having some intraday whipsaws before settling out almost literally unched off about 3 cents today. 430.14 is where it went out, putting up 1.29 million contracts for the number 2 spot, the hot option out there, 93,000 of the 430s, the at-the-money strike. Average price for these, $8.62. You know the dance by now. If you bought these, you need Tesla to keep running to the upside, and if you sold them, you might have to sweat a little bit this week, but you may end up pocketing some or all of $8.62 as we keep on rolling to the number 1 spot out there today. Nvidia taking it yet again with only 2.11 million contracts. Not a hot day in Nvidia today. Nvidia closing up nearly $3, $292, closing 179.92. That's about 1 2/3% to the upside, listeners. And the hot option out there today, probably guess it's upside. Which one is it? It's the 180s. 152,000 of those changing hands today for $2.92. That is going to do it for your hot options report for this week. Just the Facts, ma'am edition. Remember, if you want to check out all this data and a whole bunch more we don't have a chance to get to, indexes, vol, crypto, everything else, it's all there for you. The hotoptionsreport.com is the place to go. Back again tomorrow with our usual array of content till we're back again after the closing bell. Another episode of the Hot Options Report. Stay safe out there, everybody.
You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.